I was like, okay, we're gonna get the Azir Orianna trade. Now we're gonna get the Talia Rise trade. And but after you get those two trades out with Fearless, then you start to have some fun. Okay, Akali's still banned, so they're not letting Callme have that much fun because he did have a very good week 1 Akali. But you get to play a lot more, and you're in the tier of like Ahri and Galio and Aurora type champions for mid lane. Yes, there's still Victor if you want to play a control mage, but like Yone comps can come out. Ambessa here though, when Rumble's already taken out, Ambessa with Renekton up for the lane counter is a little bit dangerous, and Castle definitely very confident in that matchup, but seems like Gakgos is too, because they know what's up and they're like, fine, yeah, you could have the Renekton into it. Like Gakgos is just that confident that he's not going to lose lane very hard, and then you get to be Ambessa later on.
Well, we will have that Renekton locked in alongside the Aphelios here for Disguised. I did point it out earlier when I mentioned the bans. It has been Jarvan banned alongside that Pantheon in both the previous games in the first half of the bans from FlyQuest. But the Jarvan is conveniently absent from the ban list here in game number 3. We'll see if that one gets locked by either side, as Aurora, one of those champions that you name about the mid lane pool, is locked in, but it won't be going mid lane this game. Indeed, it looks like we're going to get jungle Ambessa with top lane Aurora from FlyQuest.
Interesting. Gryffinn is a huge Ambessa player, so not all junglers can jungle Ambessa, but Gryffinn loves doing it. He likes that, Riven, all these types of high mobility carry junglers. Yeah. So honestly, people are going to get what they paid for with their tickets here to watch Gryffinn, because these are the types of champs that you come and you really want to watch Gryffinn on, is these big carry champs like Ambessa. So we're actually not getting the Ambessa Renekton matchup. That's why they did it first pick.
It's a bait.
They're like, yeah, this is a flex pick for us. Not all teams are. A lot of teams are, but some, it's like more respectful than others.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd say Gryffinn is one of the junglers that has 100% like full confidence in these types of champs. So very excited to see. Anyways, you already mentioned as well, it's combined with Aurora. I think Aurora and Syndra are very good solo laners to combine this carry champ with, because they both have very good setup. The Aurora slow, it's not hard CC, but like it is very good CC. That and the ulti. So there's definitely a lot of positions where you can set up there, and Syndra obviously has very, very good long stuns. So I really like the opener here from FlyQuest.
Plus, it's even that less specific synergy of just, okay, I've got 2 powerful AP solo laners and I've got a high damage AD jungler. Even without individual names on those champions, that combo always feels pretty powerful together. It's very hard to itemize against that and survive the ganks if they're set up properly. Second half of the bans coming around though, there is Jarvan banned out by FlyQuest just a little later on in this one. Meanwhile, Disguised is going to focus on the bottom lane, since that's what FlyQuest have yet to draft. They'll remove the Lucian for the early power and the mid-game control, and also get rid of that Lulu that can just make everything so damn hard to kill.
Yeah, annoying Lulu for expected hyper carry on the other side, I guess. Lulu does also enable melee carry champs to some degree. Ambessa can get far away from you sometimes when she ults and gets kind of deep in team fights and is moving around, but that ulti from Lulu is always very helpful there, and trying to help out the melee carries too. So let's take a look. How are they going to round this one out with the mid lane on the side of DSG? Currently, hovering over some jungles though for Kisno, some options, but kind of expecting them to go mid since Syndra is already showing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so they do follow it up with the Yone. That was one of the fun ones that we mentioned earlier. So we do get some kill pressure style lanes where Nautilus, I think Nautilus might be one of the most important players in this whole game. Okay. Because Nautilus ultimate is extremely good versus what FlyQuest are showing, and it's gonna have to be like, can you get a timing window where Nautilus gets to roam mid to go set up the Yone, and then can Nautilus go like, shut down the jungle invade where they're going with the Ambessa and use the point and click on the Ambessa. So like the Nautilus ult is a very, very high priority ability here, either ganking from mid lane or trying to fight jungle. And we'll see if Lyonz is up to the task. He's going to have to play into that Rell.
I liked Lyonz' Bard in the previous game. I think he had some good tempered fates, bought a lot of time. The binding in the Baron play that ultimately ended up being the throw, setting up for that tempered fate was great. FlyQuest locking in that Rell that you mentioned in the support role. I like this because it does give you a true engage. You mentioned how Syndra and Aurora both have good setup for a lane gank early on in the game for their Ambessa, but it's not like the true big AoE engage. That's where Rell comes in, and Massu will be on the Senna for that scaling and range potential. Final pick of the draft does have to be the jungler for Disguised, and we will get Diana for Kisno.
Okay, so it's not quite Diana Yasuo, but it's Diana and Yasuo's brother.
Yeah, it's close.
And they still work really well together. They still have very big combination ults. So we got Nautilus plus Diana plus Yone engage Flowers. That they are cooking some heavy engage to try and take down some of these slippery, more squishy champions on the side of FlyQuest. Same token though, we mentioned Lulu helping out melee carries a little bit. Senna is an AD carry that helps out melee carries substantially. The healing and shielding coming from Senna to help out Gryffinn in the attempts at jungle carry here, I think will be really, really important. And we can see what build Massu goes with, because some people have really been cooking with the Senna builds on the new season. So we'll see how fun this is. Honestly, I'm really liking this draft. Game 3 of Fearless, you always feel like is going to deliver.
Yeah.
And this one seems to be fun.
I mean, going further and further into the draft in Fearless, to me, always just makes things more fun because you get to see more. You get to see what the team is really made of. Of course, you're going to be able to play the best stuff in the meta at any given time. Otherwise, what are you doing playing pro in the first place? I want to see how deep those champ pools go. Is it an entire lake ready to be swam in by those who are victorious on the Rift? Or is it just a lousy little puddle that only has 2 champs in it? That's what we got to prove to ourselves. If Disguised can get the win here, if they can start off their split in 2026 going 2-0, that would be such an incredible beginning of the 2026 competition for this team. FlyQuest also would love to start 2-0 with this rebuild year after all of the hype that they had in 2025 that ultimately fell short. So I feel like both of them really got to be locked in here for this third game.
Definitely agree. All right, going for the Raptor ward here. Callme now has to take some damage to get back to lane, though. Okay, nice. Quad lands the Q. So that's your payment for the Raptor ward. So they know that, Gryffinn at the very least is not starting on Raptors. And presumably, that means he's starting up on the top side and is going to path down towards bottom. Okay. And they're going to have the extra info.
We asked this question back in game number 1. And in game number 1, I think a lot of people that answered yes probably wanted to change their vote by the end of that game because it was such a stomp for FlyQuest. But then in game number 2, DSG just showed us an entirely different look. They looked way more coordinated. They survived the lane phase way better. So we want to ask the question again now, does Disguised have what it takes to finish top 4? Can they be a top half team in the LCS by the time we send somebody to first stand? We'll see what y'all have to think.
I like it. Keeping track. We've run a version of that poll each game.
Well, right now, it's people having less faith than before.
Well, they're just starting out, okay? They're just starting out. The game 1, maybe it left some scar tissue.
Oh, true. Okay, well, the number was going the down direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it left some scars. Yeah. No, we'll check back in later. All right.
Chat does not forget.
Yeah.
The game 1.
You don't want to watch the numbers, Flowers.
Okay. All right. We just got to let them ride.
Yeah.
Just let the numbers roll as Quad's going to try to get as much damage early on as he can. Just try to use the range advantage on Callme. Keep this guy pressured. Once Yone gets to full build with Vamp Scepter and Berserker Greaves, the lane can become significantly more difficult for ranged champions, especially once he's level 6 and can close that gap easier. So you really got to try to bully this guy off the playground from the moment he gets to school.
Yeah. And we mentioned, Yone level 6. Also, when Diana gets level 6, very, very scary. Because especially with Diana being one of the really strong Dusk and Dawn users.
Such a good item.
It is such a good item on the champions that it is good on, that have passives that make it effective. And Diana certainly is one of those champions, so we'll get to see that on full display. Kisno here, assuming he's rushing Dusk and Dawn. And then we'll see once they get to their level 6s what type of stuff they get up to. Meanwhile, Massu down here on the bottom side. The Senna we're going over. I'm kind of assuming he's still gonna go like the AD carry build of this like static Shiv, and then maybe he would do a black cleaver for Gryffinn, because that is an option for AD carry Senna. But there's been a lot of like. Wait a second.
Okay, we've got a fight here for the disguised side Raptors as Quad is going to steal the big Raptor away. Gryffinn does end up smiting it as they both make their exit. Now, Gryffinn did have to commit his flash to make sure he didn't get caught there. A flash for a chicken camp is generally not the ideal trade.
No. I concur, Flowers.
From jungler to jungler, we agree on this.
At least you didn't lose the chicken and then have to flash out. So
yeah, that's disaster.
Yeah, and it's just the... Okay, wait a second. Nautilus ganking mid. That was another thing we were looking for in this game. Not going to result in anything, but I like the idea.
He was looking.
As we were saying, you know, if you can burn that Syndra flash. Unfortunately, Syndra also running Ghost. So Ghost, very effective at dealing with Nautilus ganks.
Yeah.
As long as the Yone hasn't landed an ult on you already, simple Ghost is gonna go a long way there for him.
All right, Kisno is now returning the favor. He wants to contest Gryffinn's chickens. He goes in, but now he's got to be a bit careful about the counterattack from FlyQuest. A little bit of damage there from Quad with the Dark Sphere. As Kisno's down to 200 HP, he just walks this one back away. Doesn't have to use his flash.
Okay. But also didn't get the chicken.
Right. So which one would you rather be?
Well, I still have my flash. But we'll see. We'll see if it actually ends up resulting in anything. But definitely a very fun early moments here between mid jungles. And chicken camps.
And one thing that's also different from the previous couple of games is because of the nature of the matchup, Aurora versus anything melee, Gakgos is off to a very early lead in the laning phase over Castle just because he's Aurora into Renekton. In the previous couple of games, it's been Castle usually that's feeling perfectly fine in these top side matchups. He's either even or slightly ahead, but against Aurora, you practically have to go down early. As Lyonz, not gonna take a little bit of damage, but he's not afraid. They're gonna keep pushing forward now as Sajed gets some damage onto Cryogen too, so both supports take a chunk. Nobody's really that pressured. They do both pop their heals in that extended trade though.
Yeah, and then Cryogen knows that he's going to have sustain with the Senna on his side. Took some splash damage there from the blue gun, though, as Gryffinn was walking by for the crab. All right, this is it, crab number 3.
All right, Griffin's going after it, but a nice use of the dredge line to grab Cryogen from Lyonz as the 2v2 in the bottom lane breaks out, but a ton of damage back on Callme. He's taking low, tries to use the Q3 to get away, and Kisno kills off Gryffinn for the first blood. Callme's still alive. He backs away once more. He doesn't have the Fate Seal because he already used it, but Disguised will happily take the first blood.
Flowers, this moment's going to go down in history. The team that won the smite on the 3rd crab for the level 6 lost the skirmish.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy. And then this week, I feel like we had multiple interviews with like Blabber and Dom talking to, wait a second.
Q3 from Callme. It forces Quad to take a sidestep so Kisno can show up and try to chase him down. Quad with the flash over the wall. Stays alive. Barely gets away from that one.
Really good escape from Quad there. Yeah, he does have to use his flash, but so do the enemies, both of them. All right, so he gets level 6, and then Callme was able to juke the ulti from the Ambessa. So it's, yeah, he got to the level 6, but it didn't end up mattering because Callme juked it, and then Callme there had a beautiful Q through both of them to gain distance and live. So huge honors to Callme in the outplay of this skirmish. And yeah, that one stings for Gryffinn because he got to his level 6 and he was able to level it up, but then it basically has very little value. You still get the stats and everything for level 6, which is nice. Right, but but the juke there from Callme and then the Q through both of them afterwards as well, super nicely played by him. And Kisno gets to be Diana auto attacking and just slapping him there. So now he got up to his level 6 and it resulted in a couple of flashes from them. Remember, it was 2 for 1, so Quad was able to evade that Diana gank. And Kisno, no flash for the Diana, the next Diana ult.
And I really have to praise Callme's response, like you're talking about, being able to dodge that perfect execution. Because he was such low HP by the end of that 2v2, if he's not ready for the flash on the ulti, he 100% dies there.
Yeah.
That's such a difference maker in just that execution of a single ability. And going back to the criticism that was rightly levied against him in game number 1, with the Azir plays not working out, he's definitely locked in as the series has gone forward. But now it's FlyQuest making a play in the bottom lane. It's Lyonz, the victim of the gank from Gryffinn. FlyQuest will even this game up at 1-1. They're still about 1,000 gold ahead. There's another bottom side Scuttle Crab spawning for Gryffinn, so he'll be able to eat that one up, and we'll see where FlyQuest want to go with it.
Yeah, that's a really good timing window for FlyQuest. And a nice little bait there, because they have Gryffinn right behind him in the jungle. They've got position, so an ill-advised engaged timing for Lion. He gets taken down, and it results in another crab take. It didn't result in the dragon getting taken, though, and Kisno's going to slip around the Scuttle Crab vision. Nifty little trick with any champions that can jump the wall. False sense of security with the Scuttle Crab vision, and dragon should be Lyonz.
All right. They're going over for that dragon. Disguise has Kisno working on it. Callme just trying to keep Quad occupied here in the mid lane. Doesn't want anybody from FlyQuest seeing what's going on down there. Ocean Drake is claimed. Meanwhile, Gryffinn will say, all right, you take dragon, I'll take the grubs. Doesn't feel as good as it did in 2025, but hey, that's just the nature of the game. Sometimes the patch is going to nerf certain things, buff some others. Gakgos up here in the top side is still the largest individual farm difference in the game, 92 to 69 of Castle. Over a 500 gold lead for the Aurora with no kills. Feeling pretty comfortable playing the lane the way he wants to play it.
And that's the whole benefit of their Ambessa flex bait at the beginning. You know, slamming the Ambessa first pick, knowing, yeah, Renekton is up. That's one of the most common attempted counters for lane counter. And then you just swap it into jungle and are able to get the counter yourself with the Aurora as you are going over. Callme avoids the stun and can walk away.
And it's so important he did too, because Griffin's ulti just came back off of cooldown. So between the flash and the ulti coming off of cooldown, I think if that Scatter the Weak hits, Gryffinn can actually flash R and catch him before the CC ends, and then you could have a really scary proposition. So Callme, again, he's just fine here on the Yone, is still working towards that first fully completed item as Quad just trying to farm up all the minions here. Lands a nice Scatter the Weak, Dark Sphere for the trade. Callme's going to back away. FlyQuest still maintaining that 1,000 gold advantage. It's pretty much entirely just Massu and Gakgos that build that lead for them, but you're happy to have your Senna off to a good start. Gakgos doing the same on Aurora. The static Shiv fully completed for Massu on the Senna is going to help with some of that, let's call it underwhelming wave clear that the champion has in its base kit, and that's just going to keep things farming very smoothly for the FlyQuest AD carry.
Yeah, that's almost always the rush item for the AD carry Senna, looking to deal with those minion waves, as you're saying. And the pressure is staying up, so they're actually going to be able to tap that turret plate as well down on the bottom side. Getting a couple of those knocked off. Some extra money, further funds for this FlyQuest team, increasing that gold lead fairly quickly after you're just taking stock. Meanwhile, look at Gryffinn, the minimap. He's hovering again. He wants to play Syndra stun into Ambessa ultimate, and bottom side, Cryogen, as we say, the swing and a flash. So
exactly, it's not
really
a miss.
Yeah,
it's not a miss. It got something good. It gets the Sajed flash, and critically, you're not really worried about spending the Magnet Storm right there, because look at the timers in the top left. It's 3 minutes until the Herald. It's still 2 minutes until the Dragon. You're going to have the Rell ulti in time for what should be the next big fight, unless you just want to YOLO fight without ult for no reason, but that's a you problem. I don't really think that there's any reason not to go for a play like that. They'll take the flash from the Aphelios, and now if Ambessa does get bored looking for Yone in mid lane, she can go bottom lane for a flashless Aphelios and try to find the payday there.
Exactly. So maybe no more hovering around towards mid, but honestly, I think they might still because they still want to get that burst combo. And
you just want to kill Yone, man. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I feel like Flowers 100% of the time.
Just maybe sometimes, you know, just some triple-digit percentage times. You just want to do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Callme's been quite good, though. Juking a lot of spells, piloting this Yone quite effectively so far in this game. Is going to have to take the recall, though, and FlyQuest will get vision coverage leading up to this dragon area of the river. Minute and 20 seconds ahead of time. They've got plenty of vision already prepped. As you said, they also have the summoner spells prepped, with Aphelios having no mobility basically whatsoever now, with no flash and nothing inherent. Storm Razor does give you move speed, and they're going to go for a bot play themselves.
Yep, they drop the depth charge onto Massu. Callme immediately arrives with a fate sealed. It lives up to its name. The shutdown even goes over to Sajed. The Aphelios gets paid. Massu gets buried. That's the execution Disguise wanted.
Yeah, nice ult there from Sajed, and then he's got his Gravitum lock up.
Oh no, Callme though has now way overstayed with Gryffinn and Cryogen down here. They're looking to grab the punish onto the Yone, but a nice Magnet Storm coming out, tries to lock everybody up. Callme does die. Gryffinn's still fighting. He gets a double. Gryffinn's about to make it a triple if Kisno didn't show up. Cryogen now gets away. Meanwhile, up here on the top side, Castle into the Dominus looking to deal with Gakgos. Oh, never mind. The fight's already over. I tried to go fast again, but there's just nothing to go fast for. Okay, everybody's going home.
And they back off, and they're clearing some wards. Oh, is he going to cancel the recall, though? There's a croc in the bush.
No. All right, there's no more croc in the bush.
There's no more croc.
Unlucky. All right, he's out of there. And Gakgos just going to get this wave shoved. Bottom side, though, Sajed at least did get that first kill. It looked like that was about to be highlight reel material there for Gryffinn if Kisno didn't show up. Castle almost has the kill on to Gakgos, and yeah, that one's going to round up. He'll take that kill.
Not respecting the teleport timing and the minion wave. If you are close to a minion wave, you're close to a slice and dice. So
don't feel nice.
You know, good punish from Castle, and we're going to a dragon fight immediately.
Yep, Lyonz has to try to get away. Quad goes forward to try to get the execution here with the ulti, but he doesn't have enough damage to kill off the Nautilus. Now Callme in the middle of everybody. Immediately snaps back with a soul unbound. Disguised, they're up 2 Drakes. FlyQuest is up about 1,000 gold, and they've got the 3 grubs. Honestly, after 15 minutes, Mr. Kobe, it's a pretty even game.
Yeah, Dragons one side, gold on the other side. I will say stacking Senna feels pretty good, but Aphelios is a hell of a late game carry, and they've got crazy burst combo with some massive AoE potential. As we said, with the Diana, the Yone, and Nautilus being able to start out fights. And you basically just want to create offensive space here, force Sajed, so he doesn't have to worry about defense. If your offense is that good and you're locking people up in some of these big AoEs in the CC,
oh yeah,
then you can take the early initiative. Gryffinn, though, he'll take the objective. Herald picked up, guaranteed money here for FlyQuest.
Okay, so that Herald they should be able to use to knock down one of these turrets. Still no turrets claimed so far in this game. Pretty much everybody is at their first item power spikes right now. So MasterCard card holders, you can click on the link pinned in the chat for that chance to win $50 in RP. Buy your very own Vamp Scepter so you can be just like Yone and win your lane after that big power spike. As Callme going for the dive underneath the tier 1 turret. Gets a lot of quads health bar, but not the entire thing. Over the wall comes Lyonz, sets it up with a dredge line. Shield from the Dawning Shadow helps try to keep Quad alive, but it's not quite enough. Callme and Lyonz get their mark and they get away.
Here comes the reinforcements as well. Gryffinn and Cryogen are on the way. Can they trap?
Ooh, Massu's very low. Moonlight Vigil doesn't hit him, very fortunately, because that would have been some scary stuff. Bottom side here, you can see Lyonz getting away, but Cryogen manages to take the kill onto Callme. They would have rather had Gryffinn pick up that kill, but hey, kill's a kill one way or the other, so they'll send that one over to the Rell. Meanwhile, back up here in the top side, you can see Gakgos still with the health advantage in the 1v1, while the Herald is summoned up in the bottom lane, looking to force down the tier 1 turret. Gryffinn staying alive for now, does hop into the Herald, but immediately the car crashes, and Kisno's found at the scene of the crime. He holds the smoking, it's not a gun, it's a moon sword thing, but he gets his kill, and Kisno's Diana's 2-0-1.
You know, critically something also he's not holding is a Dusk and Dawn. He went with the old build, the old standard Diana build with the proto belt to get the distance
he's
for the
preparing for the nerfs.
For the ulti, yeah. And honestly, the nerfs, it's just taking down the sheen damage, and then you get 50 health added to the item. So maybe not that big, but is just going into the older build with the proto belt into the Leandries. So going for that big team fight and not even like playing into Sheen proc double passive stuff. So you could tell the ideas from this team. They're thinking all about the combos and the big AoE because this proto belt into, that's how he was able to create some space, and then they still go for it at the edge of the tower, still are able to get the kill and the ignite there. Tick, yeah, unavoidable sometimes. You just get those as a support.
Okay, well, we still have the same goal difference that we've had for so long. So despite the moves back and forth from either side, the state of the game has remained relatively the same. You do have second full item power spikes for both junglers now, as it's Sundered Sky plus Profane Hydra for Gryffinn, the Proto Belt and Leandries that you were talking about for Kisno, the old school style Diana. It's junglers first to their second item spikes, which is pretty funny. You can see Rapid Fire completed for Massu now, the Infinity Edge just now put together for Sajed. So if this Aphelios does get that free firing time like you were talking about earlier, if the rest of the team can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the best defense is indeed a good offense, Sajed is that offense.
Yeah, big crits from Aphelios, imminent. We'll see if they can actually pull it off. And Kisno, honestly, I have confidence in his setup. You know, his flash is coming up soon. Went for the Proto Belt build, went for the big AoE. We'll see if he can get the engage onto some of these slippery champions, because FlyQuest, there's a lot of opportunity to outplay when you've got Aurora, Ambessa mobility, and especially the Senna here putting people in shadow. So a couple of options there for FlyQuest as well. I think Vision will go a long way, especially if they're able to get Rell into a good spot here. But regardless, the Dragon setup commences. 20 seconds and counting down right now.
All right, let's see if Disguise can hit Soul Point on this one or if FlyQuest will be able to spoil it. Sajed gets tagged there by the Senna route, but no additional champions nearby for FlyQuest. Everybody else stepping into this bottom side river. They've got the control ward in the mid lane brush. Disguised hanging out in Banana Brush now as a three-man unit. Sajed making his way over to the rest of the team. You can see the TP coming in early for Disguised top laner. Castle has arrived into the mid lane. Gakgos is still back up there in the top side. FlyQuest grouped up as 4, but they got to be careful of the Renekton flank. Dragon down to 2,000 HP. FlyQuest stepping in. It's going to be stolen by Gryffinn, but into the back line goes Callme. Now he's intercepted by Gryffinn. Between Worlds, Gakgos is buying so much space with the Dawning Shadow over the top. Quad grabbing the kill onto Callme. A beautiful scat of the week here yet again. Disguised are trying to fight back. Sajed with a kill onto Gryffinn. Quad and Gakgos looking for a little bit more. They'll slow down the Renekton. Cryogen continues his chase. Sajed is in danger. There's the scat of the week. The cleanse will not matter. He's struck down as Quad wants more. Kisno and Castle try to get out, but Cryogen's ready on the flank. He stuns up the Renekton. He may just die himself. They want to try to turn it back around, but Cryogen's staying alive. Kisno's down. Double kill over to Gakgos. Ace for FlyQuest.
Disguised or not, FlyQuest will chase them all down, Flowers. They get every kill. Look at this. Okay, so Yone is going to go into the back line, but then Gryffinn ults the Yone that had just E'd and ulted over there to get back to that side of the fight, and then they snipe him through. They finish off the kill, but look at this big damage. Sajed is able to still pump. He's got red, white guns. The Chuckrums, he's able to get kill back on his side, chop them down. Then, of course, even with the cleanse, not going to be able to get away from this one. I think this was a cooler chase down, though, because they go around the little raptor pit here. Back onto Baron, though, Flowers. FlyQuest burning it through. It doesn't look like there's any steal opportunity. Diana very far away, but...
yeah. FlyQuest, though, look at the health bars. Quad and Cryogen are both at about half. The Baron's down to 3,000. Kisno's not here just yet. The Baron is going to be secured by Gryffinn, but what about the fight after? Lyonz in the middle of everybody. Cryogen trying to keep everyone away. Gryffinn putting the pressure onto Sajed, and he's already killed him. Disguised AD carry down. Lyonz goes right back into his own grave. A double kill back to the Ambessa as Kisno goes golden, only to stay alive an extra half second. Callme can't do anything here on the Yone. As Massu is under pressure from Castle, it's a triple kill back over to Gryffinn. The Ambessa is running wild. Castle's the only man standing. FlyQuest wanted a Baron. They're going to get an ace on the side. It's a quadra kill over to Gryffinn.
Gryffinn, the carry jungle you want, Flowers. Quadra kill for the Ambessa. He is the biggest goal difference on their team. They get the Baron. Look at the engage. All right, he's able to get the Baron himself, and then they turn right around. Ultimates onto Sajed. Even with Sajed flashing away, that means literally 0 to Ambessa. Infinite dashes there. Takes him out. What a snipe. Gryffinn here. I mean, the carry jungle experiment, Flowers. People in pro play, it is, I mean, it's becoming more common than sometimes in the past, but.
Good job.
Calm and cool.
Okay.
Calm and cool. And honestly, that was almost a penta because it was Quad and Gryffinn dealing the damage to Kisno at the same time, and Quad ended up getting that one. It was just a hair away from an Ambessa jungle pentakill for Gryffinn on that play, and FlyQuest now command a 7,000 gold lead with the Red Bull Baron power play active for another 90 seconds. Gakgos gonna step up, try to deal a little bit of damage to Callme here with the weirding, does tag him. Callme forced to snap back there through the Soul Unbound as FlyQuest want to mount the pressure here with this Baron. The tier 2 turret's gonna get the crust knocked off of it. Callme, Gryffinn, everybody just showing up around here in this mid lane, disguised. They need to try to defend, but Callme with the Yone has got to be so careful every time he steps up. Even with Soul Unbound, if you get CC'd, you might just get completely destroyed before you can snap back.
Yeah, there's plenty of damage here to back it up on the side of FlyQuest. Gryffinn holding down mid lane, buffing up those minions. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad takes the second tier 2. Bottom side, top side of the map, of course, Renekton is trying to get a little something back for the side of DSG, but it's just a mountain of gold here for FlyQuest.
And Gakgos went ahead and recalled, and Gryffinn was wrapping around the side. So if Castle did stay just a little bit longer, you could have had Gakgos hold him there in lane just a little bit. Gryffinn comes around on the flank, they get the pick. Castle wisely recognizes, hey, if they're backing away, I need to back away because they're going to send someone to go for the pick. So FlyQuest won't get anything further there. There's 10 seconds left on their Baron power play, likely not going to achieve anything more. So if you're disguised, you're at least happy to still have your tier 3 turrets intact after the Baron has washed away, but we have 30 seconds until the next Drake is live on the map. FlyQuest, since they stopped that third one, means the Disguised can't try to snag the soul here and re-equalize the game. FlyQuest have a 7,000 lead. It's very, very hard for Disguised to try to fight them in open ground on fair territory, so I feel like this is just free Drake for Fly.
Yeah, I mean, what Disguised need to do is try and fight them away from the Ambessa, wherever Gryffinn is not. Maybe you can try and pick a fight there, because since Ambessa's ultimate makes her unstoppable and you can gain a large amount of distance, it's really hard for a wombo combo AoE team to fight a FlyQuest squad that is set up with the carry jungle Ambessa like this, but also has other damage dealing champions, because you still need to get a big AoE, wombo combo with this setup here for DSG, but it's really hard to then pin down Ambessa with all the mobility and with the ultimate afterwards. And so it's definitely very difficult, especially for the Aphelios, who doesn't get to move very much, but at least they'll let us flash back by their next fight, and maybe he can like flash the ultimate or something.
Okay, Disguised. How you can stabilize and get back into this game, I'm not entirely certain, because that 4,000 gold lead for Gryffinn is absolutely frightening. Plus 1,000 gold lead for Quad's Syndra, which now does have the Rabadon's Death Cap completed alongside the Cosmic Drive and the Blackfire Torch. There's so much explosive potential with this champion. Level 16 for the final level in his ulti, alongside the 120 splinters already collected, means that the damage is through the roof on this guy. Over on the other side, Castle at least does have his Spear of Shogun and Stridebreaker combo, so the Renekton can be kind of a threat. Gakgos with Between Worlds, tries to go right back in after Callme. Massu showing up here to try to help his top laner. Callme a 1v2, and he might just win it. He's got the first kill. Callme does die, and Gakgos gets back away, making a 1-for-1 and a 2v2 down here in the bottom lane, but most of it was that 1v2 from Callme, getting something that honestly FlyQuest shouldn't have given over to him, but now Gryffinn wants to get something back here in the mid lane. Public Executions forces the flash out of Sajed.
Yeah, good flash there. Have to use it on that ultimate this time around. Castle will be able to finish up the Tower of Flowers. You almost got to do another Callme ambulance play over there.
Almost.
Yeah. Maybe call the ambulance very quickly for Castle.
Yeah, Gakgos is going to stop him here with a twofold Hex. Prevents the recall. Castle wants to try to get away, and he's going to go very far away to another plane of existence, actually. We'll see you in heaven, Mr. Crocodile. 50 seconds till he's back on Summoner's Rift, and FlyQuest will be happy with it because it's only 15 seconds until the Baron spawns again with Castle dead, with his teleport on cooldown, and it will remain on cooldown even once he resurrects. I feel like FlyQuest have to be looking towards this Baron pit.
Exactly, Flowers. Timing syncs up so nicely. Delay the death timer in the alcove. Now, Baron does take a while to burn, but they have so much damage. I want to see how quickly they can burn through this.
Okay.
They're getting some vision over the back. DSG being very, very cautious. It's still 13, 12 seconds left on Castle. So even with the Baron not going down super quickly or anything, seems like FlyQuest pretty easily have this one in hand, and the best that DSG can do is just split push with Yone.
Okay, Callme's going to get whatever he can in the bottom lane because second Baron of the game goes over to FlyQuest. Over 8,000 gold ahead now. Callme just utilizing that Soul Unbound, takes the first plate. Unfortunately, doesn't get the baby death mark on turrets, so just going to snap back, not trigger the second one, and looks like he's ready to take his recall. Does have the enchanted one primed, thanks to the mid lane quest, so he'll get out of danger before Gakgos can really try to stop him. But FlyQuest, I feel like, Kobe, they've got all the tools they need to try to just go for their game-ending push with this Baron.
They certainly do. All right, they've got the Aurora going to go push mid, while the rest of them 4-1 the top side. We're gonna have a little face check here. Support versus top laner. Ooh, follow-up stun. I don't know if that's gonna get enough distance.
The crash down contains the Croc. Castle's really got to get all the way out of there now. Nicely done with Cryogen and Quad working together to force Castle back. That means that Disguised has no chance to try to defend this tier 2 turret here in the top lane. Remember that all tier 3s are still standing, but that is the final structure collapsing outside of the Disguised base. So now it is the siege ready to begin as FlyQuest have the 2 Baron Enchanted Cannon minions up here in the top lane. Just about ready to knock off that second plate, but barely miss out on the damage they need. Instead, FlyQuest going to use their chance, go after the red buff right now. Cryogen is in danger, kept alive there by the Dawning Shadow. Kisno buying time here in the stasis, staying alive for now. Gryffinn making so much space, going in after Callme. Kisno's already down, Lyonz going to be your second kill. 5v3 on the map, and it's about to get even worse. A double for Gryffinn. Sajed is gone, and Castle's behind all of FlyQuest with his dominance, but it won't matter. There's no chance for the Renekton to go in as FlyQuest will just kick their way through the front door. Tier 3 turret in mid lane drops. Inhibitor is the next target, and it's Callme and Castle tasked with holding the line in an impossible situation. FlyQuest with the 5-man push going after the first Nexus turret. They've got the Baron Enchanted minions. They've got the cannon for the extra DPS on the structures. Castle cannot approach. He has no ultimate here on the Renekton. He's got half a Fury Bar. He goes in for the Ruthless Predator. He buys only a moment as he's shut down, shot down. He's out of there. FlyQuest are going to kill off the solo laners. They'll make their way onto the Nexus, and they'll take the series 2-1.
Gryffinn is the blender, and he was making Aphelios smoothies all game long, Flowers.
Oh, yeah, with all the angst and the hair in front of your eyeballs and the talking to your sister on the moon, it's all in there in equal parts.
I didn't know that, lore.
I learned that the other day, too. It didn't make no sense to me, but you know what? That's what happened, and Gryffinn just ran that game start to finish. Chat, I'm telling you right now, if you're voting anybody other than Gryffinn on that one, I want to have a swig of whatever you're drinking because it must be strong. Let's toss it back over to the lounge now and break it all down.